Kevin McDonald, the third man inside the cage. Pat Curran returning to action, riding a 3-fight win streak. But his last fight took place in October 2017. AJ McKee looking to run his record-winning streak in Bellator to 14-0. The two-touch gloves, McKee in the red gloves, Curran in the blue gloves. Curran fighting out of Crystal Lake, Illinois. Remember Camp Crystal Lake and Jason Voorhees? Is it true that you trained Jason Voorhees, John?
A friend of mine was a stuntman, and he played that part. And you know what? The fact that Pat comes from there, I'm scared.
Well, Curran hopes to be a scary proposition for AJ McKee. And you talk about the keys to victory. What's the biggest path to victory for a guy like Curran returning, saying that cage corrosion will not be a factor? He's a vet.
Well, cage corrosion, especially in this first round, is going to be where you're going to see it. Because he's going to have to break that sweat, get used to that feel the contact, let the energy just, ease out of him. But
there is a feeling out process going on.
And, this is good for Pat. But it is that length of AJ that is going to give Pat Curran problems.
On cue, utilizing that length to deliver the body kick. Misses with that crescent kick.
And when you're looking at Pat, look at the head placement, look at his hands. I've always said, defensively, he is an outstanding fighter. So he's not an easy person for AJ to attack because he doesn't give you a lot of openings. You've got to pick those spots and attack him fast when they open up.
McKee has done his homework. That head kick was blocked. He says that Curran very methodical, patient inside the cage. We're seeing it. He says that Curran's good at finding openings, great timing. And McKee says he just has to stay active, disrupt Curran as much as possible, and he's staying active in the kicking department.
Well, I think that left kick to the head is a very important aspect of what AJ McKee is going to do here tonight. He wants to keep Pat in a position where he's keeping that hand up high and worried, and he's going to start opening it up, bringing it not only to the head, but bringing it down to the body to slow.
And there's the takedown by McKee into the butterfly. Guard half butterfly now by Curran. And again, Curran has spent a lot of time training with his cousin, Jeff Curran, who has competed for every major mixed martial arts organization on the planet. And what do you look for from Curran on his back, John?
Well, if you're going to attack AJ, since he is so long, the one thing that I've always looked and said is partially open. Look towards his legs, but then you're always opening yourself up for the attack if you can't control the upper body of AJ. AJ physically up top is very strong, and he's got great balance. And if he's able to posture here, he can bring a lot of damage down on you.
Able to posture being the question, because right now Curran creating the posture separation, but immediately McKee lands a punch and then a knee up the middle, but Curran able to circle away from the cage, reset in the center. A lot of mutual respect between these two. Curran has actually gone on record as saying he thinks McKee is the #1 contender in the featherweight division.
I think he's right, and I really like the fact that you saw Pat taking his time, being controlled, and then exploding to get himself back to his feet where he wants to be. He doesn't want to be underneath AJ.
Curran attacking the legs of McKee. McKee feinting, resetting, backing up, using lateral motion.
And notice the distance that he's controlling. Every time Pat starts to make that little shuttle step to come inside, you're seeing AJ backing off, circling out, and creating a space that Pat has no ability to be offensive off of.
And McKee said that movement would be his biggest advantage in this fight. When you talk about, and I use the term in MMA, cage corrosion, better known as ring rust, is that more of a mental thing, or is it actually a physical thing, John?
It's both. It's both in the aspect of mentally, I haven't done this for a while, I just want to feel comfortable. And sometimes there's guys that they do right away, and there is no ring rust.
Well, fighters, some don't subscribe to it.
Some don't, and some can mentally just say that's not going to affect me. And then there's guys that timing is an issue when it comes to fighting, and they just feel that little bit off.
McKee
just can't land those shots, and that's what they're going to say is that rust.
McKee clipped Curran coming in, 30 seconds left in the first round. very much a feeling of process, but now explosive offense from McKee, looking for the finish, but Curran cool, calm, and collected under fire. You don't become a two-time featherweight champion if you wilt under pressure.
No, not even close to being a finish. He hit him with a good shot. Pat ends up being a little off balance, but he wasn't hurt.
So the first round of this featherweight contest is in the books.
Stop. Clean break. Round two.
Tonight, the unofficial scorecard belongs to Big John McCarthy. What does it read after one round?
After one round, I've got AJ McKee ahead, 10-9.
Reason.
Well, look at he was the one that controlled the distance, the location of the fight. He landed the better shots. He took, Pat down, didn't do any damage with it, but he is the guy that was controlling the fight, and since that was the most that happened, he gets the round.
Adjustments you would like to see Curran make in round two?
Well, I really want to see what Pat Curran does, because now you've had that round. You've seen what AJ can do. What are you going to do to change what occurred in that first round?
In terms of AJ McKee, now 5 minutes in the books. He will continue to, I'm sure, get an uptick in his offense, maybe try to become a little more creative, dynamic. Do you see that as being the case? Or continue to respect the fact that he's in against a much more experienced fighter who's been to the top of the mountain twice in Bellator?
Well, he's in with a much more experienced fighter as far as the length of time that they've been fighting and the number of fights they've had. But look at AJ McKee. He is a professional, and he knows how to fight. This is his fight to lose, is the way I look at it. And what he needs to do is exactly what he's doing. Control the distance, attack that front leg, attack that body with kicks, and then bring those kicks up to the head. You have the length, use it, make it work for you.
We all know that and see the tangibles of a guy like AJ McKee. What's an intangible that you picked up on during his run here in Bellator?
The thing about AJ that I've really noticed is he's got that nastiness to him. There's that element. He's a good person. He's a good kid.
Well, they'd like to see some of that nastiness here tonight.
He has a nasty side, and he does have power when he hits.
Whip that left liver kick into the body of Curran, but Curran continues to walk forward.
And you see that's like a bull rush by Curran jumping in. He's starting to show that he's having a problem with that length. It's creating a situation where he doesn't feel like he can get at AJ, and so now he's going to start taking these exasperated leaps into AJ, which only leaves an opening for AJ to attack him.
Curran has been open in the past, talking about his battles with depression and anxiety. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. You know that I'm a huge advocate, and together we can smash the stigma. The more we know, the more we can save lives, John. And here, Curran and McKee, again, there's a kick by McKee, but midway through the second round, midway through the fight, not a lot of offense.
Well, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to disagree with you as far as AJ McKee is bringing offense. He's being smart, he's utilizing the kicks. Pat Curran is having a hard time with his offense. Nice kick by Pat, but he's not bringing a lot of it towards AJ.
A lot of single shots. Coming up on the final 2 minutes of the second round, inside low kick there. There's a right hand that lands for McKee, but again, just single shots, John.
Well, it is exactly what we thought. These guys respect each other. They know each other, are very good at certain aspects of the MMA fighting world, and they need to be careful because it only takes one mistake.
And we have seen the spurts of McKee, like you say, but a lot of energy, intent, but again, not a lot of damage to Curran. Curran looking for the takedown and secures it here in round two with a minute and a half left in the round, and McKee immediately goes to the strikes from the bottom.
I want to say that's the first time that AJ McKee has been taken down in the Bellator cage. That was a nice takedown by Pat Curran. Driving double leg, got into him, but he needs to be smart about what he's doing right here.
Curran began wrestling at 15 as a sophomore. He placed in the state championships as a senior. So has a wrestling background, but again, moral victory here, taking McKee to the ground and looking to use the last minute of the round to impose his will and skill on McKee and the judges.
Well, moral victory as far as getting the fight to the ground, but since that fight has hit the ground, he has done nothing but taken shots from AJ. That's the first shot that Pat has landed while on the ground.
So McKee, the busier of the two, on the bottom.
Notice that AJ is not closing his guard. He's keeping an open guard. He's using a grapevine in the legs to push Pat back so he can land elbows. Right now, AJ McKee is the offensive aggressor in this position.
McKee with 13 wins, 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. He has cut Pat Curran from the bottom. So maybe the Friday the 13th analogy may be apropos after all before this is all said and done. As we are in the final seconds of the second round, McKee versus Curran in the featherweight division.
Stop! Clean break. Top of your head, you gotta lax. Second round.
The bell in round 2. The undefeated AJ McKee in the red gloves. The veteran, round 3, excuse me, Pat Curran in the blue gloves. And John, your unofficial scorecard?
Right now, I've got AJ McKee ahead in this fight 2 rounds to none. That's that round. Pat Curran took him down, but taking somebody down and getting beat up by elbows is going to give that round to AJ McKee.
So maybe Curran would like to do round 2 again. That's why.
That's it. Well, you said that because the referee said round 2.
Yeah, thank you. You threw a referee. What? You of all people, John.
I heard him say it. So.
Here's McKee unloading on Curran. What do you think of the kicking attack of McKee and the way is he telegraphing it? Is he showing a tell and allowing Curran to back off?
Well, yeah, he is. You know, look at what we always say. I want to hide my kicks behind my hands, and AJ is throwing kicks from the open. You know, he's spinning around. He's giving Pat time when he's doing all those spinning techniques. Pat sees his footwork. He sees the setup, and he's starting to move back.
McKee's 9 stoppage wins in the Bellator featherweight division, second most in divisional history behind Patricio Pitbull, who has 10. Pitbull, of course, comes up in the main event, champion versus champion super fight. Both McKee and I'm sure Curran would love to get a crack at Patricio Pitbull. Of course, Pitbull has a pass with Pat Curran.
Oh, he has a tremendous pass with Pat. You know, Pitbull lost a split decision back probably 5 years ago, 5 rounds, lost that split decision victory, but then came back and won. And these guys, I think every time they fight, it's going to be a 5-round fight.
This one is a 3-round affair, and we are in the final 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the fight.
Nice good left hand by AJ in that exchange. At least when AJ is coming in, he is throwing with power, and power will get you a lot in this world if you're in a fight.
In many ways, the fight remains on the table.
Okay. It does. Look at, you know, Pat Curran is far from out of this fight. All it takes is one shot to change the entire course of what we've had going on so far.
And there's the one kick, but again, we need to, his corner would love to see an uptick in his offense, but McKee keeping him at distance with those kicks. And there's the shot, the sprawl, and the knee up the middle. Great sequence for Pat Curran.
Nice knee, nice sprawl, nice knee to give AJ a, oh, you want to try to take me down? Think about this the next time.
Our double main event still to come, as we've alluded to in this fight. The featherweight division will be represented in the main event, but at lightweight, again, Patricio Pitbull looking to join Ryan Bader as the only simultaneous 2-division champions in Bellator. Tough test against Michael Chandler, and there is bad blood. And there is blood in this fight, courtesy of the elbow from McKee, but the fans at the Allstate Arena restless with the lack of action. And when you're auditioning for the featherweight Grand Prix, and yes, you talk about respect and experience, and easier said than done when you're outside of the cage, John.
Yeah, well, it's easier said than done when you're facing a guy like AJ and his ability to control that distance. It is not an easy thing to get inside of that range to land shots. You watch what Pat's doing. He's trying to utilize footwork to get in there.
McKee tries again for the shot, but from long distance, and Curran had a lot of time to react to the shot.
You can see, look at the damage on Pat Curran's leg. He's taken a lot of shots. They just haven't been the shots that are going to stop a guy like Pat Curran. Right now, AJ put him up against the fence, trying to work that clinch, see if he can get him to the ground. Pat's a very good wrestler at this point. He knows how to use the cage to keep himself up.
Looking to put Curran through the meat grinder here in the final 30 seconds of the fight. But Curran against the fence.
Nice job of McKee taking the legs. Look what he's doing with Pat Curran's legs. He's keeping Pat Curran's feet up off of the ground. It's going to make it very difficult for Pat to get up.
Final 10 seconds of this featherweight fight. Will AJ McKee's record Bellator win streak continue? Will Curran end the longest sabbatical of his career with a win?
Ladies and gentlemen, for your decision, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Judges Chris Lee and Scott Jones both scored the fight the same, 30-27, while Judge Kelvin Caldwell sees the fight 30-26. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated, AJ Mercenary McKee.
Clean sweep for AJ McKee as he adds to the Bellator record for most consecutive wins. He is 14-0 to start his career. Big John standing by.
I know you always want to be exciting in this cage. I know you always want to put on a show. But sometimes when you're fighting a guy that was a two-time champion, you have to be careful. Talk about facing Pat Curran.
Man, Pat Curran's a hell of a champ. I've been watching Pat since I was about 6 years old. So just to come in here, I knew I had to fight smart, you know. Of course, out of 13 fights, I want to finish everybody for you guys. But hey, I'm the Floyd of MMA, baby. I ain't taking no L's in this cage. So anybody want to come get it, come get it. I'm going to get back to grinding and doing what I do best, and that's kicking ass, taking names. So thank you, Chicago. It's been a hell of a time. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to putting on a show for y'all again.
In your 14 fights here in the Bellator cage, was that the first time someone took you off of your feet?
Yeah, I haven't really been taken down besides when I threw a spinning back kick with McCappa and fell to my back. But I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors, 86er, TC1, they made my weight cut nice and easy, and Snickers, man, they keep me alive.
I want to tell you, that was a very impressive fight. Great job with the range. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, AJ the Mercenary McKee.
Well, Snickers will satisfy you, and AJ McKee satisfied with his victory as he again continues to add to the record, the longest winning streak in Bellator MMA. Let's go back to